Simple Dignity: How President Biden's visit to Ireland tells the story of blue-collar Joe. In his hometown APNRC survey, Biden's approval has dropped slightly to 38% since a month ago. This is almost the lowest point his presidency, and comes as his administration tries to reflect a sense of stability while facing a pair bank bankruptcies and stubbornly high inflation. AP: When Joe Biden addressed the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers in Chicago last May, he went back to his favorite word and explained how middle-class people just wanted to support their families. As my grandfather said, maybe it's Irish. The word honor. It is simple, said the president. Biden has long placed Irish Catholic heritage at the center of his political identity, reading ancestral Irish words, poems, humor, and fairy tales regularly, above all addressing ordinary people. Next week, Biden will make his first presidential trip to Ireland, a 4-day swing, and will be part of 25th edition of Good Friday Agreement, which ended civil war in Northern Ireland before revisiting place where his ancestors lived, Ireland. He will first stop in Belfast to commemorate his anniversary. Still, the trip is a way for Biden to connect with voters at home and allow him to re-establish his Irish-American roots and lean on his economic message of dignity as he tries to win back escaped working-class voters. Brendan O'Leary, a professor of political science at the University of Pennsylvania, said Joe Biden is in many ways a much more typical Irish-American than Jack Kennedy, the Catholic president of Ireland. He's just an ordinary Joe. Scranton, Pennsylvania, from famine-ravaged Ireland. Blewitts and Finnegans. Biden inherits much of his Irish heritage from his mother Catherine Jean Finnegan's family, and traces of the bloodline range from Blewitts in County Mayo to Finnegans in County Louth, Ireland. Biden takes most of his Irish heritage from the family of his mother, Catherine Jean Finnegan, and the lineage extends to Blewitts in County Mayo and Finnegans in County Louth, Ireland. The most Irish of all presidents, 10 of Biden's 16 great-great-grandparents are Irish. Hunger Irish. Fitzsimons said each of Biden's Irish-American ancestors was a famine Irish. Fitzsimons said each of Biden's Irish-American ancestors was a famine Irishman. 1850 Christmas Day. Patrick Blewett, one of Biden's great-great-grandfathers, traveled to the United States in 1850 and saw mining opportunities in Scranton. He returned to Ireland and gathered the rest of the Blewett family. They went to the United States together on Christmas Day 1850. Irish values feed the working class. Biden uses his Irish-American identity to portray himself as a political warrior and defend hard-working American, the little man who fought hardship, who deserves a chance even if he doesn't have financial resources. That's how Biden speaks the language of a factory worker, even though he's a millionaire. Last month at the White House, in celebration of Patrick's Day, Biden said his work bore fruit for centuries, and their values have been passed down from generation to generation on countless Irish-American dinner tables, just as I grew up in them. More as Biden prepares for the 2024 re-election, Democrats worry that blue-collar voters are slipping away ahead of the 2024 presidential election. Biden is turning to these values to support his economic agenda, an economic agenda he says targets forgotten places and people. The Biden administration is leveraging the power of the federal government to expand U.S. production of computer microchips and electric vehicles. Biden talks about turning depleted factory towns in the Midwest into production hotbeds of a new green economy. A call to voters who have not received a college education, especially white voters who were Republicans during the violent culture wars of the last decade. Every worker deserves to be treated with dignity, Biden said Tuesday at a plant in Fridley, Minnesota, which produces low and zero-carbon engines for trucks. Timothy Maher, a retired associate professor at Catholic University, said the of an Irish politician as an ordinary person was sown in time as Irish Americans embraced working-class reputations and made elitism hostile. The first Irish immigrants were portrayed as stupid and incompetent in American literature, stereotypes played by writer Hugh Henry Brackenridge in the 1792 political satire, Modern Chivalry. In the book, an Irish maid named Teague uses her outspoken charm to become an American hero with ambitions to run for Congress. Breckinridge thought it was an accusation against the Irish, but in a democratic society, this is useful way to understand, Maher said. While it has long been true that the Irish are no longer mostly blue-collar workers, this as working-class people has pushed to a certain degree to the present day. Poll President Joe Biden's approval is near its lowest point ahead of a possible presidential bid. According to Maher, Biden's political brand includes two main themes of Irish-American politics: the principles of egalitarianism and social solidarity, the idea that we're all in this together. In his 2008 Democratic National Convention address, which accepted his candidacy for vice president, Biden said, "My mother's faith is the American faith. No one is better than you. Everyone is equal to you and everyone is equal to you." Biden's $6.9 trillion budget proposal taxes the rich. Clear it. Biden uses his Irish heritage for humor and empathy. Biden reminds his audience of his Irish roots in almost every situation. He uses it to empathize with Black Americans seeking racial justice, identify with the plight of immigrants, and address conflicts in other countries. "My family is Irish American," Biden said in Jerusalem last year, "and we have a long history of the Palestinian people and Great Britain and their attitude to Irish Catholics over the years, for 400 years. While Biden was in Mexico City in January discussing ways to tame Mexican President López Obrador,